happy. Happy भनेको खुसी, happy. अनि यसको antonyms छन् दुईवटा, sad and unhappy. Sad and unhappy. Hot भनेको तातो, and antonyms are cold and cool. Cold र cool. Next is big भनेको ठुलो. Antonyms are small and little. Small and little. त्यस्तै fast भनेको छिटो. Antonyms are slow and leisurely. Slow and leisurely. Light भनेको एउटा उज्यालो पनि हुन्छ, अर्को हलुङ्गो पनि हुन्छ. And antonyms are heavy and dark. Heavy and dark. Easy भनेको सजिलो. Antonyms are difficult and hard. Difficult and hard. Rich भनेको धनी. अनि यसको opposite words are poor र impoverished. Poor र impoverished. Strong भनेको बलियो. And then antonyms are weak and fragile. Weak and fragile. Brave भनेको बहादुर. And then antonyms are cowardly र fearful. Cowardly र fearful. Open भनेको खुला. And antonyms are closed and shut. Closed and shut. True भनेको सत्य, साँचो. And then antonyms are false र untrue. False and untrue. Full भनेको भरिएको. And then antonyms are empty. Empty र vacant. Empty र vacant. Old भनेको पुरानो. And then antonyms are young र new. Young and new. Sharp भनेको तिखो र brilliant, clever पनि हुन्छ. Sharp mind भनेको clever हुन्छ. त्यो सेन्समा यसको अपोजिट are dull र blunt. Dull and blunt. Bright भनेको उज्यालो. And then antonym are dull and dim. Dull and dim. Clean भनेको सफा. Antonyms are dirty and filthy. Dirty and filthy. Begin भनेको सुरु गर्नु. And then antonyms are end र finish. End र finish. Include भनेको समावेश गर्नु. Antonyms are exclude and omit. Exclude and omit. Agree भनेको सहमत हुनु. And then antonyms are disagree र oppose. Disagree र oppose. Accept भनेको स्वीकार गर्नु. Antonyms are reject र refuse. Reject र refuse. Calm भनेको शान्त. And then antonyms are agitated र disturbed. Agitated र disturbed. Build भनेको बनाउनु. Antonyms are destroy र demolish. Destroy र demolish. Advance भनेको प्रगति गर्नु. Antonyms are retreat र regress. Retreat र regress. Laugh भनेको हाँस्नु. Antonyms are cry and weep. Cry and weep. Increase भनेको वृद्धि गर्नु. Antonyms are decrease and reduce. Decrease and reduce. Love भनेको माया गर्नु. Antonyms are hate and detest. Hate and detest. Win भनेको जित्नु. Antonyms are lose and surrender. Lose and surrender. Start भनेको सुरु गर्नु. Antonyms are stop and halt. Stop and halt. Secure भनेको सुरक्षित. Antonyms are unsafe and risky. Unsafe and risky. Joyful भनेको खुसी. Antonyms are sorrowful and mournful. Sorrowful and mournful. Clear भनेको स्पष्ट. And then antonyms are confusing and vague. Confusing and vague. Hard भनेको कठोर अथवा कडा. Antonyms are soft and easy. Soft and easy. Early भनेको चाँडो. Antonyms are late and delayed. Late and delayed. Polite भनेको सभ्य अथवा नम्र. Antonyms are rude and impolite. Rude and impolite. Thick भनेको बाक्लो. Antonyms are thin and slim, thin and slim. Friend भनेको साथी. Antonyms are enemy and foe. Enemy and foe. Honest भनेको इमानदार. And then antonyms are dishonest and deceitful. Dishonest and deceitful. Brilliant भनेको उज्जवल. Antonyms are dull and dim. Dull and dim. Sharp भनेको तीखो. Antonyms are blunt and dull. Blunt and dull. Cheap भनेको सस्तो. And then antonyms are expensive and costly. Expensive and costly. Alive भनेको जीवित. And then antonyms are dead and lifeless. Dead and lifeless. Next is urban. Urban भनेको सहरी. And then antonyms are rural and countryside. Rural and countryside. Present भनेको वर्तमान. Antonyms are absent and missing. Present भनेको उपस्थित हुनु. And then antonyms are absent and missing. Forgive भनेको माफ गर्नु. And then antonyms are blame and condemn. Blame and condemn. Expand भनेको विस्तार गर्नु. And then its antonyms are contract and shrink. Contract and shrink. Appear भनेको देखिनु. And its antonyms are disappear and vanish. Disappear and vanish. Agree भनेको सहमत हुनु. And then antonyms are disagree and refuse. Disagree and refuse. Truth भनेको सत्य. And then antonyms are lie and falsehood. Lie and falsehood. Victory भनेको विजय. And then antonyms are defeat and loss. Defeat and loss. Curious भनेको जिज्ञासु. And antonyms are indifferent and apathetic. Indifferent and apathetic. Flexible भनेको लचिलो. And then antonyms are stiff and rigid. Stiff and rigid. Connect भनेको जोड्नु. And then antonyms are disconnect and separate. Disconnect and separate. Forgiving भनेको क्षमाशील. Antonyms are unforgiving and vindictive. Unforgiving and vindictive. Strength भनेको शक्ति अथवा बल. And then antonyms are weakness and fragility. Weakness and fragility. Legal भनेको कानुनी. And then antonyms are illegal and unlawful. Illegal and unlawful. Include भनेको समावेश गर्नु. Antonyms are exclude and omit. External भनेको बाह्य. And then its antonyms are internal and inside. Internal and inside. Success भनेको सफलता. And then antonyms are failure and defeat. Failure and defeat. Respect भनेको आदर. And then antonyms are disrespect and insult. Disrespect and insult. Demand भनेको माग. And then antonyms are supply and provide. Supply and provide. Demand भनेको माग गर्नु. And then antonyms are supply and provide. Precise भनेको सटीक. And then antonyms are imprecise and inexact. Imprecise and inexact. Create भनेको सिर्जना गर्नु. Antonyms are destroy and demolish. Destroy and demolish. Lead भनेको नेतृत्व गर्नु. Antonyms are follow and trail. Follow and trail. Generous भनेको उदार. And then antonyms are selfish and greedy. Selfish and greedy. Ancient भनेको प्राचीन. And then its antonyms are modern and new. Modern and new. Bright भनेको उज्यालो. And then antonyms are dark and dull. Safe भनेको सुरक्षित. And then antonyms are dangerous and unsafe. Dangerous and unsafe. Permanent भनेको स्थायी. Antonyms are temporary and transient. Temporary and transient. Agreeable भनेको मनमोहक, and then antonyms are disagreeable, unpleasant, disagreeable, unpleasant. Humble भनेको विनम्र, and then antonyms are proud and arrogant, proud and arrogant. Gentle भनेको कोमल, antonyms are rough and harsh, rough and harsh. Silent भनेको शान्त, and then antonyms are loud and noisy, loud and noisy. Visible भनेको देखिने, antonyms are invisible and hidden, invisible and hidden. Abundant भनेको प्रशस्त, and then antonyms are scarce and lacking, scarce and lacking. Public भनेको सार्वजनिक, antonyms are private and personal, private and personal. Legal भनेको कानुनी, and then its antonyms are illegal and unlawful. Faithful भनेको विश्वासिलो, antonyms are unfaithful and disloyal, unfaithful and disloyal. Empty भनेको खाली, and then antonyms are full and occupied, full and occupied. Expand भनेको फैलाउनु, and then its antonyms are contract and shrink, contract and shrink. Organize भनेको व्यवस्थापन गर्नु, and then antonyms are disorganize and scatter, disorganize and scatter. Healthy भनेको स्वस्थ, and then its antonyms are sick and ill, sick and ill. Hostile भनेको शत्रुतापूर्ण, and then antonyms are friendly and amiable, friendly and amiable. Accept भनेको स्वीकार गर्नु, and then antonyms are decline and refuse, decline and refuse. Loyal भनेको निष्ठावान, and then antonyms are disloyal and unfaithful, disloyal and unfaithful. Accurate भनेको सटीक, and then antonyms are inaccurate and incorrect, inaccurate and incorrect. Content भनेको सन्तुष्ट, and then antonyms are discontent and dissatisfied, discontent and dissatisfied. Lucky भनेको भाग्यमानी, and then antonyms are unlucky and unfortunate, unlucky and unfortunate. Certain भनेको निश्चित, and then antonyms are uncertain and doubtful, uncertain and doubtful. Intelligent भनेको बुद्धिमान, and then antonyms are stupid and ignorant, stupid and ignorant. Increase भनेको वृद्धि गर्नु, and then antonyms are decrease and lessen, decrease and lessen. Narrow भनेको साँघुरो, and then antonyms are wide and broad, wide and broad. Permanent भनेको स्थायी, and then antonyms are temporary and momentary, temporary and momentary. Excited भनेको उत्साहित, and then its antonyms are bored and uninterested, bored and uninterested. Forgive भनेको माफ गर्नु, and its antonyms are blame and condemn, blame and condemn. Dynamic भनेको गतिशील, and its antonyms are static and still, static and still. Fresh भनेको ताजा, and then antonym are stale and old, stale and old. Near भनेको नजिक, and then antonym are far and distant, far and distant. Sharp भनेको तीखो, and then antonym are dull and blunt.